Ready? Are we ready?
We are ready.
All right, let's start this meeting. Good morning, everybody. We have the Planning Construction Committee meeting, 8/9/22. First item, roll call.
Okay, Trustee Sperber.
Here.
Trustee Carey.
Here.
Trustee Chaplin on Zoom.
Here. Good morning.
Good morning.
And absent Adam Kramer. We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first item, public comments. Do we have any public comments?
No public comment.
All right, next item is approval of minutes of meeting. Anybody got any comments or want to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'm pleased to make a motion for the approval of the minutes as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a first and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Item is passed. Moving right along. Next one is for item 4 for information. Got nothing on there. Item number 5. First item is 5.1. Ted? He can take a little longer since his price is underneath the engineer's estimate. On the one that he's, Ted, you can take all your time. Good job.
Morning,
Morning, Ted.
trustees. Chair Sperber, Mr. Griffin, CEO. So today we're going to do a short presentation on the arrival departure escalator modernization. Now a lot of this is going to kind of sound like you've already heard it before because you have for the Skybridge escalator. Of course, the purpose of this action is to authorize the President and CEO to execute a construction contract for the arrival departure escalator modernization project at the Reno Tahoe International Airport with Kone Incorporated accepting the base bid and alternate number 2 in the amount of $1,962,000 and authorize an owner's contingency in the amount of $150,000. Now, this is in support of our strategic priorities, facilities for the future, safety and security, and customer experience. A little background on these escalators. It's our 2 arrival and departure escalators. They were installed back in 2002. They're 20 years old, and they each have 188,000 hours of runtime. It's eligible under the Airport Improvement Plan Handbook, and of course we want to preserve our infrastructure and make sure we have good running equipment and it's safe for the public use. So these are the escalators we're talking about. On the left, there's the 2 arrival escalators, and on the right are the 2 departure escalators. A lot of the same key project features as the Skybridge. High efficiency electric motors that are going to be controlled by variable speed controllers. These controllers will reduce this speed of those steps down to 30% of its normal speed when not in use, and then they'll ramp up, and it's really smooth how quickly they'll ramp up to their normal speed once somebody comes across that infrared sensor. These handrails will also be protected with a UV handrail sanitation module, sterilization module.
Right.
That's a mouthful. They'll have edge-lit handrails. They'll have demarcation lights on the steps, upper and lower LED traffic flow lights. This all, this whole project will reduce our maintenance on these escalators and reduce the number of trouble calls we have. And we'll be getting a 2-year warranty versus the standard 1. An invitation to bid was advertised in the Reno Gazette-Journal on May 24th. It was also posted at the same time on the RTA website and the NGIM website. We had a mandatory pre-bid on June 14th. 6 contractors showed up. Bids were due June 28th, and we received 1 responsive bid from Kone Incorporated. So you see there's Kone's base bid plus, that's the base bid plus the warranty alternate, and then what the engineer's estimate was going to be. So today, we're talking about, talking about this $1.89 million and the alternate for the warranty of $72,000 for a total of $1.9 million for those 4 escalators. That is just a little bit more, about $148,000 more than the 2 Skybridge, and that's pretty much related into the cost of steel, where we're going to build these, how many times we got to move the construction wall, and then of course the owner's contingency of $150,000. So estimated completion at right at $2.3 million, and we have a project budget of 2.8. A little background on Kone. They're headquartered out of Illinois. They have offices all over North America. They have a local branch here in Nevada. They're currently our maintenance contractor for our escalators and elevators. They've satisfactorily completed escalator modernizations at other airports, including Harry Reid International and right here at the Reno Tahoe International. The staff recommends that the board adopt the following motion. Move to authorize the president and CEO to execute a construction contract for the arrival departure escalator modernization project at the Reno Tahoe International Airport with Kone Incorporated, accepting the base bid and alternate 2 for a total amount of $1,962,000 and an owner's contingency in the amount of $150,000. And at this point, I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Questions, Sean?
Ted, the construction phasing, is it 1 escalator at a time?
So there'll be 1 departure escalator and 1 arrival escalator done at the same time. So we'll always have 1 arrival and 1 departure running, no matter what. And we still have, we also have 2 elevators on both sides.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Questions? Carol?
No questions.
How about a motion, one of you two?
Chair, I move to approve this item as presented by staff for the replacement of the escalators.
I'll make that second.
I got a first and second. Any more comments? No comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Ted.
Oh, thank you.
Good job. All right, let's get on to Mr. Bryce, 5.2. See how I let staff say read the whole thing? I don't like to read all those. They make them shorter when they have to read them instead of us. Morning, Bryce.
Morning. Morning, everyone. Bryce Juzik, RTA Project Manager, here to talk about the Reno Stead Pavement Maintenance Project for 2022. So pavement preservation is really important for keeping your pavements in good condition, and especially in our climate. We have a very harsh climate here in the Truckee Meadows, so trying to mitigate the effects of sun, rain, and freezing thaw on our pavements is a priority for us over the last couple years. We've been focusing on landside pavements here at Reno, and now I'm shifting my attention up to Stead. Pavement preservation is to mainly stop these cracks when you get them, to negate the effect of rain, the weather on the pavement. Doing so, you see in figure 1 on the left-hand side the typical life cycle of the pavement. With the pavement preservation, we are trying to extend the life cycle of that original pavement to where we can, it's a lot cheaper to treat a good pavement versus reconstructing it after the end of a 20-year life cycle, if we can extend that life cycle for additional 10 or. Here's 3 examples of pavements that we're treating out at Stead. The center one is West Taxiway Alpha. You can see there's no cracks or crack sealing done on that pavement. This is 4-year-old pavement, so it's right at the time we want to treat it. Versus if you look at North Bravo, we got a bunch of crack seal and stuff like that. That's additional costs. Just for your reference, contractor place a foot of crack seal is about $1. So that can start adding up really quickly. We do that in-house, and then here on the far right, you can see the alligator cracking where I would need to necessarily patch that. I'm not really doing that in this area. I'm just trying to seal it and hold it together till the apron project comes, but it is a FOD issue currently, so I'm hoping I can squeeze out another 3 years of life out of this pavement before it gets reconstructed. With that, we have a lot of new pavement out at Stead, so we're trying to keep it in good condition. The terminal access roads were built 3 years ago, the BLM apron 2, and then the Stead maintenance yard is kind of in rough shape, but is relatively new, so we're trying to mitigate whatever issues we're having in there with the surface treatment. We're using 2 different types of surface treatment here this year. Slurry seal, which is very common, you see around town all the time. It's a mixture of water, asphalt, emulsion, and aggregate. And we have 2 different types out at Stead, a type 1 and a type 2. Type 2's out on the street, you see. Type 1 is aeronautical use. The big difference is just the size of the rock. So with that, we're using a P608 emulsified asphalt. We have not used this really here before. This is, there's a limit to the weight on slurry that you can use. So this we're using on our airside pavements where we have aircraft over 60,000 pounds being used. We normally use a SS1H here at Reno, and I kind of use the example of SS1H. You figure it as like 5 SPF sunblock for your pavement, whereas this is probably a 35 SPF with some aloe in it. This,
Very good.
yeah, and then
Very good.
and then the slurry is probably your 50 SPF, but it's not viable for the impacts of landing in heavier aircraft. So we're trying the 608 out, which has been recommended by several of our pavement engineers. So with that, we are crack sealing in-house and patching and the Stead maintenance crew. And then we are treating a little over 250,000 square yards of asphalt. And then restriping will be done airside by RTA staff and landside by the contractor. Here's a display kind of showing you all the areas that we are treating. The purple area is the base bid. The colored areas are the bid alternates. As you can see, we're getting the majority of our pavements done minus the runways and the apron area that we are reconstructing. So pretty happy with the amount of work that we're able to accomplish with this project. Base bid was a little under 30,000 square yards of type 2 slurry and a little under 130,000 square yards of P608. With that, we did have 4 bid alternates that we were able to award. The bid alternates 1 through 3 were 608 with a difference of dilutions and polymer content, and then alt 4 was the type 1 slurry. See here the areas we're doing the slurry seal. The blue area is type 2 slurry, and then the red area is the type 1 slurry. And then the 608 treatment, purple, is the 2-to-1 dilution with 2% polymer in the base bid. And then down here in this corner, I'm doing a different dilution and polymer contents with the alternates. I'm kind of doing a test strip here. So as you can see, the difference in dilution and polymer content to see what is the best pavement to use in our area. NDOT does this a lot with mixed designs for asphalt, trying to figure out what is the proper mix design. And since we don't have someone to rely back, we're doing this in-house, and the actual manufacturer is going to come out and are interested in this test as well, trying to figure out what's the best product for us for as far as bang for our buck going forward. So with that, we had 5 bidders. Sierra Nevada Construction, which is located here in Sparks, was our low bidder. Everyone else was located out of town. I think the closest was Vegas for one of them. And then with that, the total construction contract is around $557,007. But as you can see, I have a bunch of money in the other direct costs. I'm buying paint for the maintenance staff, beads, asphalt patch. So I'm doing a lot of work in-house to kind of stretch my dollars. Had some project challenges. We're gonna do this after air races, so making sure that rah-rah's cleaned up, at least out of our work areas will be a rush, because we're trying to beat the weather, fall weather. RTA is doing a lot of patching in-house, which is stretching the maintenance staff there. And then, so they're trying to do that as well as prepare for the air races for me. The tenant outreach, just letting them know where I'm gonna be, because I'm doing a lot of work and in a lot of different locations on the airfield. And just the volume of work for STED. I'll have 2 weeks there, because I'll still have the STED apron project kicking off again after air races. So I'll be in a lot of areas in a short amount of time. With that, we're having a little bit over a 2-week construction period after air races. I'll hopefully have board approval on the 11th, and then issue a notice to proceed the 22nd, where they can start making their ags, ordering their products and stuff, so they're able to start right after air races. And then hopefully by the 12th, I'll have everything restriped and demobed. With that, staff is seeking the Planning and Construction Committee's recommendation to approve the construction contract and bid alternates 1 through 4, the amount of $557,000 and $557,007, authorize an owner's contingency in $80,000. Questions?
Thank you, Brett. Questions, comments? Carol?
No, I guess Chair Sperber, I know that you could talk about asphalt all day long.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
We're gonna, my only question is are there any threats of supply chain issues with some of this product that you have to bring in after you get approval?
No, I think the 608 comes out of Salt Lake, so it's pretty local. I think my biggest concern would be gas prices hiking, but I don't think they're on a downward trend. So I have not heard any comments about an issue to get product. I think last year we had some issue with the Type 1, but they had to truck it out of Sacramento because it's not that smaller aggregate for the Type 1 slurry is not something really manufactured here locally. So the contractor did have to go to a Sacramento source to get their ag, which was an unexpected issue for them, but they were able to handle it on their own. But no, I don't particularly see any other major issues. I think the paint, we were a little worried about getting paint, but I think we've already ordered all of that and it's in stock, minus the red paint for the Compass Rose, which I don't know if you saw in one of the photos, but no major supply chain issues at this point.
Thanks. Any other questions, comments? Yeah, I'm glad we're trying 608R. You know, I hear things about.
Not the R, just the regular 608. I'm not
No,
paying
but
extra money for rapid set.
To do a rapid set on some of them, so you're not gonna. Okay, but just the idea of going to 608 is much.
I think we've
Appreciate
had
it.
some pushback from maintenance staff. It's a little bit harder to work with here. And
It
I think
is.
they tried it and didn't notice a major benefit versus SS1H. That's why I'm kind of doing the test strip to where I'm going to do a strip of SS1H along the west boundary on the phase 3 to where we can
Where you
compare
can-
apples and oranges, like,
Which
hey,
is great, which is great.
so.
All right, thank you. No more questions, comments? Somebody's got to make a motion? Sean? Or you got any more?
I'll move for the approval of item 5.2 as presented by staff, and congratulate Bryce and his team on putting together a great program.
Second?
First and second, any more comments? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nothing. Passes. Thank you, my friend. All right, let's see what we're moving on. We're moving on to ticketing. My friend Amanda is ready to come talk to us. It's been a quiet month, I know, on ticketing.
Super quiet, yeah. Good morning, Amanda Fischel,
Yeah.
Senior Project Manager for the Airport Authority. I'm just here to give you a quick update. At last board meeting, we talked about bringing the ticketing hall GMP to you at a special board meeting on August 18th. That didn't work for schedules, and Darren really didn't. He's trying to mitigate how many extra meetings that you guys have. And so, in talking about kind of the pros and cons, we just decided to shift that to the September 8th board meeting. So that's when it'll be brought to you. It was really only kind of a 3-week change. And, we were kind of working toward an arbitrary ending of the project. So we decided it really potentially was a benefit, because now we're currently working through the numbers to kind of really get them down to what they need to be, make sure all the scope is clarified so that it's ready to bring to you in September. So what that means for us is we're starting putting up the temporary walls October 10th, the week of, probably takes 2 days there, so October 10th and 11th. You'll start to see those temporary walls in the ticketing hall go up and, really kick off the construction there. And then we're looking to reach substantial completion by the end of January 2024. So that's kind of the major change there. Any questions?
Questions? Carol?
No questions, sorry about that. No questions.
No problem. All right, thank you. Next one, we've got Gary, who's going to talk about schedules. Chris is not here today, so we'll see if Gary can handle it. I'm pretty sure you can.
Good morning.
Morning.
Gary Probert, Chief of Planning and Infrastructure. Yes, I'm filling in for Chris Cobb, who's on a very well-deserved vacation. So what I wanted to point out here is the things that have changed are always these highlighted projects here. It doesn't look like there's as many changes as it really looks like. 3 of these projects being the remote economy, the GA hangar roof replacement, and the ticketing hall expansion. Basically, those have all moved from that. They were all up in the capital improvement program under design, and now they've moved to the construction phase. So now they've been moved down into the 22-23 fiscal year projects. We do have a couple new ones. The terminal arc flash is a new study that was approved, I think it was last month, as well as the pavement maintenance project here that we talked about, and the HVAC for the ticketing hall. So those are new on there, so really that's the only thing that's changed. Most of them just kind of moved from design to construction.
Exactly.
So I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
Questions? Carol?
No questions, thank
Yeah.
you.
No questions? Thank
Easy.
you. Pretty easy. Thank you, my friend. All right. So we're going down to anything project status report. Are there any items anybody'd like to pull out of this thing? Carol?
None, thank you.
Sean?
None.
None for me. See, Gary, you're through. All right, next item is member comments, questions, anything you want to put on the agenda? Anybody got anything?
No comments.
No comment. Carol?
No. None, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. All right, let's go to public comments.
No public comment?
Wonderful. All right, move to adjournment. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Just one shortest one. Record.
Pretty cool. Pretty fast. I didn't know that.
Never.
It's never in the shortest. Never.
Recording stopped.
We agree on that.